Many years ago, back in my 20s, when I was working on a wildlife research project on a remote Scottish island, I was offered some dark chocolate as part of like the end of a celebratory meal. It was a treat. But for me, I said, no thanks, I really don't like it, no thank you. And the person who had offered it to me laughed and said, oh, one day you'll enjoy it, you'll see. And I usually hate that kind of comment, but actually they were right. Now in my 40s, eating chocolate isn't just a treat, it's actually part of my nutritional strategy to stay healthy. So what is the benefit to eating dark chocolate in our perimenopausal and postmenopausal years? Why is there a benefit, and what is it actually going to help with? In our perimenopausal and menopausal years, we're more prone to the problems of internal inflammation. It's partly as a result of hormonal activity and partly to do with aging, as I've talked about in other videos. It's a natural process, but it can become a problem when we don't counterbalance it with strategies like food, and there's a lot of other things we can do as well, but we're going to encounter some problems if we don't do something about that inflammation. So inflammation itself can be a driver of disease, but when we put it together with hormonal changes from menopause, it can exacerbate those existing problems and make things worse. So we're talking about everything from painful joints to weight gain to increased cardiovascular risk. So, you know, some really serious health topics that we're talking about being associated with more inflammation in the body. So there's some serious health concerns, but it doesn't mean to say that how we address that has to be all serious. Enter dark chocolate. It's actually a really well researched subject, and studies have been done on the links between dark chocolate and everything from low libido, heart arrhythmia, hypertension, headaches, muscle pain, joint mobility, fatigue, stress, iron deficiency, loads of things. I'll put some of those links so you can have a look at the studies in the description below. So the benefits are coming from the high levels of antioxidants, like think of that as being anti-aging. High levels of magnesium, a really important mineral that our entire body needs to stay healthy, and also iron that's found within the cocoa. Note that I'm talking about the cocoa or the cacao, and those terms are kind of interchangeable. It's the raw ingredients where the benefits are, and it's not so much when we start to add in the sugars and the fats and the flavourings, and to make it more palatable. Obviously it tastes nicer, but it's the raw ingredients when it's organic as well, and there aren't any contaminants in there. That's where the benefits are. And of course it's when it's at least 70% cocoa content, so not the milk chocolate, not the white chocolate. And of course serving size is going to be important, and I'm not going to give you a minimum serving size for how much dark chocolate to eat to get the benefits, but I am going to say it's probably wise to be just aware of how much you're eating and how often you're having it. I do tend to have it most days myself. I think that's absolutely fine, but I'll usually have a square or two at the end of a meal once a day. It's like a bitter flavour. It's very dark and intense flavour. It satisfies a craving for something sweet at the end of a meal, and also that bitter flavour is quite a nice full stop to put an end to the meal as well. I mentioned magnesium earlier as being one of the key benefits of eating dark chocolate, and magnesium itself, when we talk about it as a mineral, is one of the most widely used and needed minerals within the body, helpful for all sorts of things from mood regulation, muscles and energy, sleep. It can help with migraine management and prevention, PMT symptoms. And magnesium can also help with blood sugar regulation, which is one of the three main areas that we can focus on for creating health in our body during menopause, which I'm often talking about in these videos. Every cell of your body requires magnesium in order to work properly, and that need actually increases in our peri and postmenopausal years. It's not going to go away, it's going to actually increase. Plus, it's really common to be deficient in magnesium. So there are lots of different ways in order to address that, and dark chocolate and the high cacao content is quite a pleasurable way of doing that. And yeah, to me it feels indulgent, it feels pleasurable, it feels a nice thing to do, it feels like a treat, but I'm also getting the nutritional benefit. But if you don't enjoy it, I would hate for you to think that I'm trying to force something on you that you don't enjoy. There's many other ways to get the same nutritional benefits from other foods. And actually, let's be honest, if we were to only use dark chocolate as our source of antioxidants, of iron, of magnesium, then yeah, we're gonna be missing out on a lot of nutrition. We're going to be doing ourselves a disservice. The bottom line is there's no one food that's going to address and solve your menopause challenges, and chocolate is included in that, even though it's beneficial. Just like there's no one supplement or no one remedy that is going to solve an individual challenge for you. But there are many different things, foods and non-food strategies, that can positively support your body as you try and navigate the associated challenges, and they can be pretty varied when we're talking about menopause. There's anti-inflammatory or antioxidant, it's kind of the same meaning, basically nutrient-dense foods, and they are definitely in this bracket of support and addressing the challenges of menopause on a wider scale. And in fact, if you don't make those changes or adjustments to your diet, then you definitely are going to see some challenges. In summary then, it's really about addressing your changing needs as an individual woman, as a woman going through a fairly significant transition through peri to menopause to postmenopause. But that doesn't mean, it might be significant and it might be challenging, probably will be, but it doesn't mean you have to suffer through that. And there are many ways that you can support yourself through that whole transition. Dark chocolate can be one way of doing that. That can be one aspect of your nutritional strategy. But let's just be clear, it's not the only thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to encompass and embrace a few different things. But if this is where you're going to start, then I'm going to support you on that.